Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. I am filling in for Renrock. Renrock was supposed to be the moderator, but he's probably got caught up. He's a busy man, y'all. He always on his heels. So tonight, you guys, we have Armando Black, my brother, and my sister, UKNEW, and we are going to be talking about some topics that everybody is discussing today. So I want to first say hello, Armando. Say hello to the chat.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening to you, Ms. Moderator, together. Good evening to you, Senator UKNEW. And salute to everyone in the chat and everyone that's ghost watching. Salute.
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Oh, let me introduce you, baby girl. You get a proper introduction, baby girl.
I was telling him hello.
Okay, next we got my sister, my road dog, my homie, my ace coon boom. We got you new, the pink wolf. Ow! I know you didn't get that introduction, Armando. Everybody know you. You a good man. But hey, sis,
Hello, everybody. Doing in the chat.
I got issues. I got issues. I told y'all. Hello, everybody in the chat. I didn't even say hello. Hello, Don GQ. What's up? How you doing? Um. Okay, so are you guys both ready for my first question?
Let's get it going.
You ready, Mondo?
Yes, absolutely.
The King Wolf, the Alpha Wolf.
Good
Oh,
luck, sir. Good luck.
oh, shucks, shots fired. God dang it! I need one of them little. I need one of them, y'all. Ooh, it's on
We
y'all.
don't we don't get no opening statements first.
Um, okay, you know what?
That was
How
mine.
I'm
Good
running.
luck.
I'm running this my way. Hey, wait a minute. Good gracious! Thank you for correcting me, though. Okay, Armando. Why don't you go ahead and give your 3-minute opening statement, and after that will be you new.
Greetings to the chat. Greetings to the moderator. Greetings to my opponent, Miss UKNEW, Senator UKNEW. Uh, my platform is very simple. Me and my opponent, we agree on a lot of things, but the one thing that we disagree on, or we may have differences, is, and you're going to find out the contrast and differences. One of us is speaking on the problem, and the other one has bold solutions to the problems. And that's what I'm going to bring to the table here this evening, some bold solutions. It may seem out of the ordinary, but it will get the job done. It will decrease. It will actually be very effective. Now, will it stop the problem completely? No, but it will slow it down, and that's the goal, to slow down the problem that we have: the domestic violence, the sex trafficking. We need better protection for our children. And my main goal is, and the first thing that I was do on day one is, I will pull the money that we are investing overseas to protect other citizens in other countries. Pull that money, bring that money home to protect our own citizens. If we can't protect the men and women here at home, then how can we protect others overseas? I'm done.
Okay, you knew the same question. Your opening
First of
statement.
all, okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming through. I just wanted to say something. Don't be throwing shots at me talking about I don't have resolutions, but I have, the as far as I know what it's about, right? No, don't do that. Do not do that. Sorry, you guys have to hear that side of me. But anyway, I feel like my opponent, Mr. Armando, Oops, let me put some stank on it. Armando. Okay. Um, First of all, I feel like a lot of the things that's going on in this world is because of people not being what they call it ciphered. I don't know the exact word for it. I mean, I don't have big words like he does. I'm just going to talk to you guys
Vetted,
like normal
vetted,
people. Huh?
vetted.
Vetted? Okay, vetted. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I feel like people need to be vetted. There's too much things going on because nobody's being vetted. I'm talking from relationships to the police department to the detectives to the senators to presidencies, the presidents. Let me see, and different political people. Okay, that's what's going on. They're not being vetted. These people are being put in charge of things that they have not been vetted to do. So they need to start vetting these people. That's what I and I really think that they need to have for the children that are missing. They need to do this thing where as soon as the parents call, they need to just get off their butts and start looking for these kids. That's what they need to do. That's one of my solutions. Get off your butt and do your job. Stop worrying about tickets and start looking for these missing children and missing people. I'm done.
Very great opening statement for both candidates. So, are you guys ready for the first question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, this one will go to UKNEW. What is your take on domestic violence?
Hold on. Okay. So domestic violence. Thank you. Domestic violence, I think, would be um, once. Okay. So I know that they have this in. This is what they're doing. Where if the woman is being abused, or if a man, of course, is being abused, because it could go either or, right? It could go either way. I feel like they're already doing the part where they're saying, okay, yeah, if somebody says, I don't want to charge this person, so the state takes it. Well, guess what? They need to do that in all 50 states, all 51 states, 50, whatever, how many states we got. I told you I'm not political. But I think they need to do that. They need to have all states, all countries where they have this, where they take it over. Because there's a lot of women who are scared. That is why they go ahead and they say, "Oh, let me go ahead and take this. Let me go ahead and take the charge off because I don't want him to be gone. The money's going to get low." No, 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 no. Don't worry about that. You got to worry about your life because one of these days that might turn into more than just domestic hitting. It's going to turn into an aliving. So I feel like, yes, the state needs to take over and they need to take over correctly. Don't just like take over and be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take over this because you're going to drop the charges. No, 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 no. They should take this to court and make sure that this person is charged with whatever it is that he's doing so he can learn his lesson. That's all.
Okay, Mr. Black. Same question to you. I'm gonna give you a two-part question, Armando, but I want you to answer this first part. What is your take on domestic violence?
It's becoming a serious problem in this country, and it consists of not only physical domestic violence, but also there are a lot of things that are that are incorporated into domestic violence. Stalking is one of them. Okay. Now, how I would handle domestic violence is I would get the federal government involved. All right. And it will become zero tolerance. So many times that you have women, they'll call the police. Police comes. They come and detain the fella, take him off the jail, and then by the time the police gets to the jail, they're not at the station good. They're down there trying to drop the charges. No. If the authorities come under my administration, if the authorities show up and they see marks on the male or the female, all right, then that individual that perpetrated the violence on the other individual, they will be detained and taken to jail. No ifs, and odds, or buts about it. No bond. 90 days mandatory jail in the county. Okay? If there is a protection order filed, and a lot of times there are protection orders filed in domestic violence cases. If there's a protection order filed, there's a mandatory 1 year. It's required for 1 year to be upheld for 1 year. All right? It will not be terminated under no circumstances. The required feet will be 5,000 feet. You cannot come within 5,000 feet of the individual. Now, if either party violates that protection order, even the person that filed it on the other person, because you have situations where the female will forgive the guy, she'll get slick, the guy won't come to her house, she'll go to his house. Either party violates the protection order, it's gonna be some jail time. Okay, because sometimes we have to protect individuals from themselves, and if it means putting them behind bars to protect them, we'll just have to do that.
Okay, are you ready for your second part question?
I'm ready.
Okay, I need you, and you knew. I'm gonna reverse the roles. I need you as a man to speak to the woman that is allowing a man to do domestic violence on her, and you knew I need you to speak to that man to get him to understand what effects it's causing on that woman. So you see what I'm saying? I'm switching
Yes.
y'all roles, and I need Armando to speak to that woman first.
Go ahead.
Okay, am I speaking to the man or am I speaking to the woman?
You're speaking to the woman as a man, like you're being a father that that woman may never have had to allow it to go on. So you're talking to her. What would you say to her about a man putting his hands on her?
Love doesn't hurt, number one. Love does not hurt. Emotionally, physically, love does not hurt. There's no way you can convince me, or not even yourself, that this man that is putting his hands on you loves you. He does not love you. He does not respect you. Especially if he's physically trying to hurt you. You need to get away from this fellow before it gets worse. There are too many men out here in this world to settle for one man that's going to hurt you or physically violate you. You deserve better. And you need to get away immediately. None of this, well, it's my fault, I made him mad, he'll change. No. If it's in him, it's in him. Now, I'm not saying that the brother can't get help and later on down the line and get in another relationship and he won't put his hands on the next female. But this man is not for you. He is not for you. Any man that wants to hurt you, physically hurt you, and mentally as well, they're not the one for you. And you deserve better. I'm done.
You knew.
Okay. All right. So I agree with that because the reason why I agree with the Senator uh, Armando here is because yes, love doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So I feel like if I'm talking to a young man who has been young man, whatever age, because they come in all ages, uh, I feel like they need to be told that there is consequences behind every action. Do you really want to go there? Do you want to put your hands on a woman? How would you feel if it was your mother getting her hands put on? How about if it was your daughter getting her hands, the guy's putting his hands on her? How about if it's your grandmother getting her hands put on? Anybody that you care about getting their hand, the person's putting their hands on them. Is that something that you're okay with? And if you're okay with this, you need to be taken to a psychiatric care facility, and they need to put you on a 72-hour hold to make sure that there's nothing really wrong with you, like you haven't been dropped on your head or something. Because I feel like if a man, like I'm talking to a man now, you guys know that, I feel like he needs to get, they need to check him if he thinks that it's okay for a man to put his hands on a woman for any reason. I understand some men do have to defend themselves when a woman comes at them. They do have to defend themselves, but they don't have to put their hands on them. What they need to do is go out of that house and find another way, because the way is not to put your hands on a woman. So the consequences would be you're going to go to jail, and people in jail do not like men who put their hands on women. So he would be in a lot of trouble in there, as well as, having to go to court. It's going to be on his, hold on, I'm sorry. My dog needs to go to the ladies' room. It's going to be on his lifetime report from the police report. I feel they need to have that on there as well. So like when somebody vets their boyfriends, they'll see that this one is not the one to deal with. So if a man understands that type of thing, I'm pretty sure he's going to think twice about putting his hands on a woman. Period. And don't go buying things for them and saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again, and then turn around and do it again. No, that's not happening, Captain.
Time's up, baby girl.
Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's totally okay. These are serious topics, so there's no I'm sorry in this. Um Question, is the moderator allowed to say anything, or is it just you and him?
You're allowed.
Okay, so one of the things, how you guys are absolutely correct. Both of your answers are spot on. But I'm going to ask you guys, I'm adding in a question. Would you, because Armando said something about taking the money from, helping other countries. I forgot how he said it. I'm not trying to say that he's being rude. Hi, Smokey. How you doing, everybody? Um, would it be fair to say, Armando, that you would take that money? Would you put a woman and her children in housing? Because a lot of times when these women are being abused by these men, it's because the man is solely taking care of this woman and the family. So would you create, this is to both of y'all, would you create a program where this lady is being abused by her husband and he feels like he has the power and she has to stay because she has nowhere to go? Would you create a program where there is housing, where she can get education and she can start working so that she can be on her own? That question goes to you, New, first, and then Armando second.
Sorry, I have to let her in. Okay. So yes, they should implement things like that. Yes, they should definitely implement places for them to go, safe places to go. I feel like they could get them started so that way, because like sometimes I'm not saying this is just women. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, right now I'm talking for the women part. I feel like they feel they don't have the money to leave and stay gone. I feel like they need to help them to get them started, and that way the woman can go get her job. They definitely need to do stuff like that, because a lot of women who feel stuck are because they don't have the money to go on. They feel like they're going to end up being homeless, or they're not going to be able to take care of their, if they have kids. Now, if they have kids, they definitely need to, get some kind of help from the government. Definitely. They need to put something aside for that. They need to implement that. And also for a woman who has been abused and feels like she's stuck as well, she needs help as well. So definitely, I would definitely implement that, where they take some of that money and use it for that, because they do need it. Because like I said, a lot of women they feel like they're stuck because of the money situation. They don't have a place to stay because they went and moved in with the man or married the man, and he's the one who has the house. He started, he already had the house prior to their marriage. Some places they don't do 50-50, where the woman can still get 50 part of the house, or sell the house and then they go 50-50 with the money. They don't have that everywhere. So I feel like, yes, they definitely need to help women with that. Yes, I agree.
Okay, Armando, same question. And then I'm not just talking about women, I'm talking about any person, male or female, that is being abused, even if it's a child. What do you think, Armando?
Well, definitely, I would take some of that money and I would create a women's battered shelter all across the country, especially in major urban cities. I would also implement a work program that would help them get back on their feet so that they can get land a good paying job and provide for them and their children. Now, but the main thing is, and we got to make sure that we take care of the main issue, and that is their safety. A lot of times the women leave the man, and the man just doesn't get it. He continues to stalk them, he continues to follow them, and what we need to do is we need to make it zero tolerance for these men that are abusing these women, and toughen up the laws. A mandatory year sentence for domestic violence. Domestic violence will not be a misdemeanor, it would be a felony. And if you're convicted, not only will you be required to do 90 days, if the authorities come, they see marks on the arms, see bruises, nose bloodied or broken nose or anything like that, you're going away for 90 days. Okay, 90 days in jail. Then when you go to trial, they find you guilty, you're going away to prison for a year. Okay, none of this where you're getting a slap on the wrist for putting your hands on someone. You're going to do some jail time. So we have to make sure that we get these perpetrators off the streets and make the environment safe for these women. I mean, there's men getting abused as well, but the population mostly is women that are getting abused. But definitely a women's battered shelter will be, I would put a lot of them up in all the major urban cities, and definitely work programs. Thank you.
Okay. Um, what happens to a gentleman if he spends that year, Armando, in jail? But during that year in jail, you find that he has also recruited friends and family to threaten her. What do you do next?
That's a party to a crime. There are already, I don't know about California, but in Georgia we have laws. If someone goes to prison for committing a crime against a citizen here in Georgia, and they go off the prison and they have a family member or a friend to go after that individual, then that's a party to a crime, and they will be incarcerated as well.
So pretty much you say zero tolerance all the way.
Zero. When I say zero tolerance, I mean zero tolerance.
Okay, that's good, and I'm glad that you guys recognize that there are men and women. And I shared with you, and I'm still trying to get my god sister to come on because she works at a shelter where men and women come in. So my next question is trafficking, intimacy trafficking. I don't know if I can say the S word, but the hell with it. Sex trafficking of people and minors. So what laws would you put into place? Hear me now. Should you find out that your colleagues in the government system are also involved in this heinous crime, you knew.
So the question is, should I what one more time as far as the colleagues?
I said you're creating laws against sex trafficking, human trafficking.
Okay.
And in your human trafficking laws, you said no matter who they are. And there's a possibility that some of your colleagues in your government and the government officials are a part of this crime as well. How would you implement laws where it would not exclude them as well?
I don't care who it is. 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 Everybody is not, there's nobody going to be excluded. If they're into this human trafficking, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the president. I don't care who it is. They're all going to get charged because there is no way I would allow in any manner. I don't care who it is. It could be my daddy. It could be my mama. I don't care. There's repercussions for every action. No way in heck am I okay with any type of human trafficking, or would I allow anyone I know, anyone I work with, any family members, nobody. They'll all get charged, period.
What's the charge?
You're going to jail for life. Because if these people got to live for life with this mess, you're going for life.
Okay, Armando, your question.
Okay, I agree with my opponent. It is a terrible crime, and definitely anyone that's involved definitely needs to be incarcerated. Okay, we can all agree on that. But like I stated earlier, we need bold solutions. The solution is simple. It will definitely be a federal crime. All right. And this is where I will invest the money that was being sent overseas to Ukraine. That money will be put back here so that we can protect our women and children here at home. All right, boots on the ground. Definitely, we will need boots on the ground. The sex trafficking, a lot of these kids are being snatched from schools. I would have the police departments. They would have to beef up boots on the ground. Hire more officers. We would also have officers. And I feel like we have enough money to do this. All right. You don't put a price on protecting the children. Every school bus has one police escort on their routes. Okay. Also, and studies also show that these kids are being snatched from the bus stops at in subdivisions. I would get with the HOA committees, fund them so that they can beef up their neighborhood watch programs. Have some of the individuals that live out there in the subdivision, and they would have to have proof that they live in the subdivision. All of them participate. They recruit some individuals, and even you could pay them a little money, pay them like pay them like $15 an hour for 4 hours between the hours of 12 and 4 p.m. to post up at the bus stops where the bus is going to let the kids out, and that'll cut down on the sex trafficking, on these kids being snatched up from home and around the school area, which will leave us to the next problem. When they're out, they go to the mall or whatever. I would implement a nationwide curfew for any child that's under the age of 18, midnight. I don't feel that any child that's under the age of 18 needs to be out unsupervised. Well, if you're not at a school event, if you're not with your parents, if you're just out and about walking around downtown, the underground after midnight, you're asking for trouble. So I would implement a nationwide curfew. If you are under the age of 18 and you're out roaming around after midnight, you will be detained, and of course we're not going to take you to jail, but you'll be detained and you'll be taken home. Now, once the authorities arrive at the home with that child, the parents are going to have some answers on why their underage child is out roaming around after midnight. Those what I call a bold solutions.
I have one thing to say I have one more thing, a pushback. It's not just kids that are being trafficked. There's adults as well, young adults as well. They're trafficked. These people are being trafficked from parking lots at the store. You got people, like you said, the malls. I mean, there are different places that they're getting these people from, and they're ugging them. You can't say the word, ugging them, and this is how they're getting them to where they're taking them to, because they're under the influence that they did not try. They weren't doing it because they wanted to do it, because they were forced, and they shot them up with whatever they needed to do, chloroform, whatever they needed to do. These are not just children, but young adults as well. So I feel like you're correct. I would definitely have that implemented through the whole United States, through every country, as far as our country, of course. Every part of the country is definitely having a curfew, but that does not stop what's going on in the daytime. It happens in the day. It happens in the morning. It happens in the afternoon. Are you going to curfew throughout the whole time, through the whole 24 hours? How are you going to do that if this is what's going on throughout the day? It's not just happening at night anymore. This is daytime stuff going on as well. That's it.
Armando.
Okay, like I said at the top of the debate, you're not gonna completely put a stop to sex trafficking, all right? But my programs, the ideas that I have, is gonna put a dent in it. It is going to slow it down. Most of the sex trafficking, whether it be an adult or a child, they're being snatched after dark or sometime around nighttime. All right. Now the punishment for the perpetrators is going to be severe. All right. Mandatory life sentence without the chance of parole. All right. We're going to implement more boots on the ground. Local authorities are going to have more roadblocks. We need, in order to actually slow the sex trafficking down, we're going to have more local police presence. More local police presence. I would also like to put on the table and offer self-defense training for women. There are a lot of women, they don't go to the gun range, or they don't take up self-defense because they can't afford it. A lot of these kickboxing classes and taekwondo classes, they cost. They're not free. So I'm going to implement a program where it'll offer women free self-defense training all across the country. When I say I have bold solutions. I have bold solutions, and I'm going to put money into the problems that are happening here domestic, right up under our noses. It may not completely solve the problem, but it will definitely put a dent in it. My ideas will definitely slow down the sex trafficking and put a dent in it. Thank you.
Okay.
I have one more thing to say about that as well.
Hold on one
One,
second. Hold on one second. Hold on one
okay.
second. I wanted to say something. Armando, I think your programs are amazing, but I think what she's trying to convey is not just a man snatching a woman off the street at night. What's happened has been a woman will be targeted and they will put something on her door handle and it will cause her to pass out. And that will be a way for them to also snatch a woman or a chosen male or a child or whatever it is. So I think I get what she's saying, and I totally understand what you're saying is that you would put such a dent in it that it would be next to impossible for them to continue to do the things that they're doing. But go ahead, you know.
Shoot. So, I was just going to say what you just said. I was going to bring that up because they are doing that. People are putting papers that's has something that's causing these women to pass out. A lot of people don't know that when you pull up your little what they call those your wipers. They put it under your wipers. You remember, even in the older days, they used to sit there and put like flyers in your your windshield, and you would just take it and throw it away. Well, now when you touch it, it could possibly be not 100% all the time be that, but it could be a situation where you end up passing out because there's Uggs that's on there that will knock you out automatically. Like like within seconds, you'll just pass out and they'll grab you and go. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Okay, let me explain it to you again, to the both of you again. Okay, I'm not gonna sit up here and sell pipe dreams to the American people and say, "Oh, my programs is gonna completely put a stop to sex trafficking," because that will be darn near impossible. What it's gonna do is gonna slow it down and it's gonna put a dent in it. All right. Now, you both of you, we are all aware of what's going on about the paper in the door, and it's some other thing about it at gas pumps and people, coming up and putting chloroform on people, and that is also happening in the daytime, and it's mainly happening to women. All right, but like I stated in my last response, the self-defense and awareness training programs that I'm going to implement all across the country is going to have these women ready for everything that you're speaking on. Not only are they going to be aware of what's going on and how to conduct themselves and what to be ready for, but they're also going to have self-defense training. Because, we can put as many boots on the ground as we possibly can. But there's going to come a time where if an officer is not around and something needs to be done quick, the woman will be able to handle herself. That is why I would like to invest in a self-defense and awareness training program all across the nation. Thank you.
One more thing for that. Yes, self-defense is good for someone that's not being ugged. One and two. I don't know if you remember this. A few years back, people were pumping gas into, trying to pump gas into their cars. They didn't know about this until after the fact. They were having needles in there that would cause people to get AIDS. It would have blood on the needle. You wouldn't even know because it's like as soon as you grab it, it literally punctures you, and there's a chance that you could have AIDS. They have that type of thing going on. Now, I don't know if it's still going on, but I try not to touch the pump. I rather not. It's just too much stuff that's going on right now. And then with that, not only is it just the paper in your windshield, you have people jamming bottles into the women's tires. It's between the tire and the car. I don't know the exact word for it, but they would put bottles in between the car and the tire, and the woman would have to sit there and try to pull it out. And by the time they're sitting there trying to pull it out, somebody comes behind them and chloroforms them. How are you going to fix that? This is something that you don't know is coming. It just comes. Chloroform is all they do is wrap their hands right around in front of your face and put it right on you. What are you going to do about that? Is what I want to know.
Self-defense and awareness training. Do you understand when I say awareness training? Everything that you're saying about the needle and the pump and all of that, they will be ready for that because it's going to be taught in those awareness classes. We know about all of that. I'm aware of all of that. That is why I came up with this idea of the self-defense awareness program, training program. So when they go to these classes, it's not just about self-defense. It's also, you also have to educate them on about what's going on at the gas pumps, about the water bottles, about the tires. You know, okay. and it's a number of other things. You have to make them aware of it. Coming on here saying, well, this is being done, that is being done, this is being done. We all know we need a solution. We need a bold solution. And it's going to take programs like mine, what I have on the table, to prevent these events from happening to these women and children. Because it's happening. I mean, you have single mothers that are walking to their cars with their children. If they put their hands on the wrong thing or a card or something, then if they take it out, then the kids are left, they're sitting ducks. Mm-hmm. So we definitely need awareness to go along with the self-defense.
Okay, I agree with the the awareness. I agree with that. But the thing about it is, how are you going to know until someone has already been, it's already happened to them and nobody really knows about it yet? It's something new. You're talking about things that's, yes.
You knew, hold on a second. Yes. What he is saying is this. There will be people that he would have working with him mm-hmm. that will tell him all the worst case scenarios that has happened to people, all mm-hmm. the news reports of various things that has already happened to people when it comes to awareness and safety. That's what he's saying. Anything that you can think of, he will have a task force in line that will train women. Look, if you go out there and you notice a bottle under your car, don't go and try to remove that bottle. Go back into the store and ask the security to help you. And that way, the person that is waiting and lurking, their plan to be foiled. So you won't just go as a woman. If I see something in between my tire, I'm going to roll over that son of a gun. I'm not about to sit up there and pick that shit up. I'm going to either roll it, kick it. If I can't get it myself, then I'm going to go back in the store and say, hey, can you help me? Somebody stuck this under my tire and I can't get it. He's going to implement awareness stuff that is already known out there to man and teach women. That's basically what he's saying. Everything that you're saying, he's saying it.
And can I also just follow up? Can I also follow up? These classes, Senator UKNEW, they're not just going to be taught by regular citizens. These classes are going to be given by law enforcement, trained officers, trained people that have been in the military.
Okay.
So these police officers, they've seen it all. They've seen, and we're also going to have individuals from local hospitals to come in and speak with these individuals.
Okay.
Now the self-defense and awareness training program is open to anyone that's willing to come in, because we also have the other community that we have to protect. You know, the LGBT community we have to protect. I'm in it to protect all American citizens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I do. I promise you, I get exactly what you guys are talking about, the awareness. I'm not talking about the things that they have done already. I'm talking about what about the future things that they're going to come up with to do things to people is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about things that's already happened and the things that are happening now. I'm talking about future, the near future, the future. That's what I'm talking about. I get the
He's
part where you're
talking
saying
about
you
that
and
too.
yeah, well, if he's talking about that too, then that means that you're going to have somebody who has like a mentality of a criminal, because I'm talking about criminals here. I'm not talking about smart cops or educated cops. I'm talking about somebody who's uh, let's just say he invented something. That's what I'm talking about. Someone who invents things. Somebody with a criminal mind that can invent something and nobody knows about it yet until after it becomes like a C-19 situation. That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
why he said boots on the ground. Boots on the
Okay.
ground means
I know, right
that
there and
whatever
there.
you
I
come
got
up
it.
And
with is going to be dealt with.
also ex convicts that have gotten out on good behavior and on a work release program will also have them coming in speaking as well.
Now that
That's
part,
why.
I got you. Okay. Okay. Now I
Yeah.
get it. Because you're going to have somebody who
Yeah.
would have that
That
mentality. Got you.
exact.
Got you.
When I say a bold solution, I mean bold solution. Self defense and awareness. It's not going to be no half ass awareness. We're not going to be half ass educating individuals. We're going to make sure that once they complete those courses, they will be ready for whatever.
Okay. I got you.
Mhm.
Okay. We can go next unless you have something else to say. We're good. I got it. I
No,
understand.
we going to the next question, and the next question, your policies and your policies on terminating life abortions. What are your policies, and what would cause you to say no um, if a person is seeking an abortion? You knew.
Me? Oh, I thought I got it first.
Oh, that was Amando's question. I'm sorry, Amando. I'm
Okay. That's
sorry.
fine. That's fine.
Okay. First of all, and I just want to say this first to the ladies that are listening. I don't believe that the government or anyone should tell a woman what to do with her body. Okay, but I also do believe that when it comes to abortion, we need some bold solutions to regulate it here in our country. I would not outlaw it. I would not outlaw it. Okay, first things first. If you are raped and if there's incest involved, okay, the abortion will be free under my administration. Okay, we will need definitely a police report, a grape kit, all right, and if you're able to identify the individual, that individual charges being pressed against that individual or have that individual incarcerated. But we definitely need a police report and a grape kit, okay? Because you're gonna have females trying to use that walker. Hey, I got raped, and we have to have proof that you actually have been raped, okay? And if once you prove that, then and you want to go through with the abortion process, it will not cost you a dime, all right? Incest, if it is consensual, and what I mean by consensual, there has been situations where two adults from a small town, they were dating and they did not know that they were related, cousins or whatever. They didn't know that they were distant siblings or whatever, and if that young lady gets pregnant by her cousin or brother or whatever that she didn't know that was her cousin or brother, then we will allow the abortion, and that would also be free. Now, here's where we get to the good part. If you are engaged in cavalier sex with someone, and you didn't strap up, and you slip up and you come up pregnant, then the abortion is going to be anything from 30 days less, 30 days and less. Starting off, the cost for an abortion will be $50,000. Okay? Anything over 30 days, if you're over 30 days, it's not going to be allowed. We will not be, no abortion will be legal if you are pregnant over past 30 days. All right. I feel like a woman knows her body. A woman should know what's going on with her body. And if you're pregnant, if you have unprotected sex, there's so many things that's available now. You got home pregnancy tests. It's all kinds of things that's available to you. And if you find out that you're pregnant, why wait 60 days and 70 days to have an abortion? I've never understood that. But if you come up pregnant and you want to have an abortion, we're not gonna outlaw it or anything like that. But it's gonna cost $50,000, and it will be the government will be taking over the abortions. Abortions will be done at the local clinics. The abortion clinics, they won't exist anymore. The county clinic will be the ones performing the abortions, and we'll fund that as well. And I think that's the best solution. We're not going to outlaw it. We're not going to say, oh, abortion is not legal in America, but we're not going to make it easy. We're not going to sit here and make it easy. I feel like it's egregious that you have people out here that are getting surgeries to save their life that's costing somewhere between 20 and 30 and 40,000, and you can just pay $300, $400, $500 to go get an abortion and end a life. I've never understood that either. So I feel like the abortions, I don't think they should be outlawed. I don't think they should be illegal, but I don't think they should be easy, cheap to get. I think we should make them as expensive as possible, because you can't put a price on a life. But I think that's fair,
Okay, you knew? Did she drop down?
Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so is it my turn now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I don't know if my opponent knows about this, but there's some women who actually don't know that they're pregnant until they start showing. Let me explain to you why. Now, I knew I was pregnant because of the way I felt. Some people don't they don't pay attention to their body. Some women just don't. I don't know why, but they just don't. There's been times where the woman had a child and did not know that's what's going on. She thought she was having problems with her stomach. She went into the hospital. She was cramping and she was going into contractions. She was getting ready to deliver a child and did not know about it. Now, the reason why I say some women don't know they're pregnant is because if they're not paying attention to their signs, is some women do have their monthly, okay, and they don't blow up right away. I did not start showing until I was 5.5 months pregnant from my very first child. Literally did not show. I had a flat tummy until I had my, till I found out I was pregnant, till my body started changing as far as weight wise. But I knew I was pregnant because of me not having my my menstrual. But there's some women who have menstruals through their whole pregnancy, so they don't know that they're pregnant and they're not paying attention to the other signs of being pregnant. Now, I am against women who are what they call it, having abortions left and right, and having, being promiscuous, and they're having kids, being getting pregnant left and right and having abortions left and right. Well, first of all, I'm against that, but it's their bodies. So when they'll learn the hard way, they will not be able to bear a child after they get a certain age from from them having so many abortions. Even from a first abortion, they can also not have children as well. So later on, that's their pay for doing what they should not have done, for being promiscuous. Now, as far as being great, I feel like definitely they should not have the child unless they choose to. Now, I don't know who would choose to have a rapist child, because they have to look at that child, and that child ends up looking like that man. This is who they're looking at every day. And I'm pretty sure, I've never dealt with it, but I'm pretty sure they would have some kind of anger issues, and their memory starts to come back. And that's a trigger warning for them, and they have to live with this the rest of their life, to the rest of their lives, or the rest of their child's life, whichever one. God forbid that it happens, that something happens to the child, because everything's kind of crazy right now. So I feel like definitely they could choose whatever they want to do with their body, but I'm against them constantly going out and having these abortions because they're promiscuous. But they'll always, their karma is going to come regardless. And I don't think we should have to pay for that just because they're being promiscuous and getting pregnant left and right. But definitely, a rapist, a person that's been raped, and they know, we know for a fact she's been raped. Um, Definitely, she should not have to have that child unless she wants to deal with the results, or the trigger warnings, and the child looking like them. And then that child, who knows, God forbid, that they have those genes of a rapist. That's it.
Okay, I have another question. This goes to you and Armando. I would like for Armando to answer first.
Okay.
With the laws that we have today, which they're trying to take away the woman's right, let's say that it is enacted and the woman has to go through with the pregnancy, okay? What would you do if, what law would you put into place, Armando and UKNEW, if the rapist found out that this child was actually born and he's demanding visitations and the same rights as the mother that went through the pregnancy? Armando?
How can he even have any rights if he's behind bars? Under my administration, if you are a convicted rapist, you're going to be in prison for life, mandatory life sentence, with no chance of parole. And automatically he would be giving up his rights to the child. There are some females that will choose to go through with the pregnancy and have the child, even if they were sexually violated. We will definitely, and that goes back to the women's battered shelter, the work program, and whatever we can do to help that young lady along the way. We will definitely have some government programs in play to help her. But he won't have any rights to the child. Under my administration, he will be in prison. He won't see the light of day. Thank you.
I agree with him 100%. He will not see the light of day, because if she got to deal with this the rest of her life, he's going to deal with being in prison the rest of his life. And as far as him getting any visitation rights, never going to happen. Never going to happen. I'm talking about even if he gets a chance to come out, never going to happen.
So my question is this: how would you get her financial assistance to raise that child, being that the father may be in prison? Is there some kind of program in prison that you will make him work and send her the money, Mondo?
She would automatically qualify for government assistance. We would at least $800 worth of food stamps until the child turns 18. Excuse me. Free health care for her and the child until the child turns 18. And she will also get a government. It would be. It will, I don't want to say a stimulus. I don't want to say a stimulus check, but it will be something sort of like allowance. A stimulus check that she will receive.
An allowance.
Yes, and yeah, an allowance every month. We will those women that go through that. We will, and they decide to go through with having a child after being sexually violated. We're gonna go above and beyond to help them, protect them, and make sure they have everything they need to for that child. And if that child, once they reach the age of 18, they graduate from high school and they decide to go off to college, we will definitely make sure that their college is taken care of as well.
Okay, our next question is your policies, laws.
Wait, I don't get to answer it?
No, I just wanted to ask him.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, baby girl.
I actually had a good answer, but that's okay.
Well, go ahead. I don't want to leave you out. Go ahead.
It's short. It's short. I feel like I would implement would be, instead of them getting government help, I would go to companies and have like a business thing where they actually get an amazing job where they don't have to worry about working for McDonald's or Popeyes or any of those places. It's going to be like an amazing job where they're going to make at least 100K, and the businesses would work through that. It would be like a government thing where they would talk to them and they would, like, I don't know what they call it. You know how they have, like, you go to this one place, they have these places, and then you go there and they have like a job fair, right? So it'd be similar to that, but it's for big jobs, like amazing, good paying jobs, and go take them through that training so they can get paid that kind of money from this company, for these companies that are joining the job fair. That's it.
Okay.
Everything you just said, it sounds good. It really does. It sounds good. But in real life, you don't really pay attention very well. I said, if a woman gets sexually violated and gets impregnated and she chooses to go through with the pregnancy and raise that child, she's going to automatically qualify for government assistance. That's going to consist of women's battered shelter. We're gonna put her in housing. Well, definitely she has to go to a women's battered shelter at first, but then we're gonna provide housing for her. We're gonna provide her with a work program. Did you hear that part?
That's not the same thing I was saying. I'm saying government, no kind of government
program is the same thing. It's the same thing.
Right, but I don't want the woman to go through no shelters. Some of these women don't want to go to shelters. Have you seen what those shelters look like? I've been to a shelter, not myself, but to pick up somebody from those shelters. Those places are not fancy.
Well, the ones that we are going to build are going to be, they're not going to be like what you're envisioning. They're not going to be like what you're envisioning.
Okay.
These women are going to be well taken care of, and we're going to put them through a work program. But you also got to remember, these women have been sexually violated, so we're going to have to get them help. Mm-hmm. Which means they're going to have to mentally. We're going to have to mentally help them.
Yeah, I got the part on that. I'm good on that.
Hold on a second. Mr. Butler for Life. No, that is not Malaysia. The name is UKNEW for your um
Yeah.
for asking. So you guys
The
are gonna
the,
have
the
to like wait because you guys are going back and forth and cutting out the moderator.
okay. All right.
So what
Sorry.
he said was programs. Programs consist of everything that you're saying. If he's a new policy builder, holder, everything that is here now is going to be new. Whatever they have right now in place, you guys are replacing it with your own. So if you didn't like the way the shelters looked, you would create shelters that will be feasible for the people that you are trying to help. And it will come with a host of things, counseling and everything else until she's able to get on her feet, like you said. So go ahead.
Okay, so basically, what I'm saying is, the shelters, we're gonna have to be, it's gonna be better. They're gonna have to be better than that, okay? Because, like, I'm telling you right now, I've seen the outside of it. I never went in the inside, but I was told what it looks like inside. They got roaches, they got all, you definitely got to do better, for real. Those shelters definitely got to do better. So I would definitely make sure if she's gonna go, if she's okay with going to a shelter, it's gonna be more of a like a 5-star shelter. It would be brand new, no roaches, nothing. Nice beds, nice rooms where they're comfortable, like they were in their own bed before something had happened to them. Like that's what I'm thinking. If they're going to go to a shelter. So yeah, I agree with that part. Okay.
Okay, my next question is Mondo. After the woman chooses to go forth and have that child, would you and you knew make it mandatory counseling and possibly lifelong counseling? Mondo.
Mandatory counseling. I wouldn't make it lifetime because everyone is different. Some people heal faster than others, so it would definitely depend on the individual. But I would definitely mandatory counseling would be a part of the program because we want these women to mentally heal. You know, we want them to grieve and mentally heal. We don't want to just shove them off into some Fortune 500 company, you know, because money doesn't heal everything. You know, we want these individuals to actually seek counseling, professional counseling, and heal the proper way. But it'll be mandatory, but it won't be lifelong. No, because everyone is different. Some people heal faster than others. Thank you.
Okay. You knew. Same question.
It it wouldn't be mandatory because it would be her choice if she wanted to go. Because not everybody wants to go through to those psychiatrists or no, not I was gonna say gynecologists, but psychologists. They don't all want to do that. As far as like if she wants to go, she can go. If not, then it's not mandatory. It's up to her. If it should not be forced on her, just like that rapist forced her to have a relation, to have intercourse with her. I don't think it should be mandatory because she's already been forced to do something she didn't want to do. Why would you want to force something else on her? I'm just saying.
Okay. Hello to Yogi Bear,
Uh,
to Ron, and everybody else that came in the chat and we weren't looking. Hello.
okay, it's not about forcing the woman to do anything. It's sometimes when you're a leader, when you step in the position as a leader of the government, and when you're the leader of the United States, you're the leader of the free world. When you're a leader, you have to protect people from themselves. Uh, I don't know too many people that can honestly say that a woman can go through a horrific event like being sexually violated and not agree that that woman doesn't need some type of mental counseling. So yes, I will definitely make it mandatory because as president, Okay, as president, my job is to protect and serve the citizens of my country. All right, and that also includes protecting them from themselves. Thank you.
I get what he's saying, because you made a comment that was so very true. You said that she has to look at this kid that was made out of a violent situation. So I think that's what he's trying to say. It should be mandatory. So in case that happens, she know the tools not to take it out on that child.
Okay, well, the thing is what I was saying when I say it's not mandatory. I'm not saying that it's not, she should not do it. I'm not saying that. She should definitely get help, but it should not be forced. Because mandatory means you have to do something. She should not have to. It should only be by choice. Because when someone grapes you, it's done forcefully against your will. And that same thing, what mandatory would mean to her. So that's why I'm saying, yes, she does need help. Yes, people need to talk her into getting help, but definitely not forced into getting help. No, I still disagree on that.
Okay. So I don't you have anything else to say as a
I,
rebuttal?
Yes, it's just like I'm quite sure a lot of individuals, me myself, when they first passed the seatbelt law back in 90, I think it was 98, 97, 98, when they first passed the seatbelt law, I felt like man, that's, I don't want nothing wrapped around me. That's uncomfortable. I had been driving for years with them, free, nothing around me, not having to wear my seatbelt. And I felt like it was just an inconvenience. I couldn't look cool in the car or when I'm at the red light with a seatbelt strapped around me. But the governor at the time made a decision to make it mandatory for all Georgia citizens to wear their seatbelts. Okay, because there was a high percentage of wrecks and accidents, and people were not surviving those accidents because they did not have their seatbelts on. Okay, so I do believe now, now that I'm an older citizen, I understand why that law was put in. Okay, because sometimes you have to put laws into play where you are protecting the citizens from themselves. I'm quite sure a lot of citizens would love to be able to talk on their cell phone and drive without any law. I'm quite sure if you ask any citizen in Georgia, should we get rid of the cell phone law? Would you like to get rid of the cell phone law? Yeah, I would love to get rid of it. But they put it in play for a reason, to prevent accidents and casualties on our roads. All right, that is an example of protecting citizens from themselves. It's not a situation where you're trying to make them do anything. You're protecting them from themselves. And a woman that has been sexually violated, and that is horrific. That pretty much is the most horrific thing one of the most horrific things that could happen to any woman. To go through that and not get any professional counseling, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I just can't allow my female citizens to do that to themselves. So yes, I will make it mandatory. Thank you.
Okay, one more thing. One more thing. Okay, I get what you're saying. I would not have used seatbelts and using cell phones in a car as far as versus what a woman just went through. It should. I understand the part where you're saying the woman needs help. They need to go and be seen. They need to get checked out. All that. Yes, I agree with that part. but it should not be mandatory where they have to do something they don't want to do. And they're being forced to do something after they've already been forced to have their innocence taken away, possibly, or have been ended up getting impregnated by this person, being touched forcefully, not wanting to be touched. And then you're saying seat belts and cell phones. That's two different things. Mandatory, no. Asking her or talking to her and getting her to understand that she needs that help, different than being told you have to do something you don't want to do, especially after not don't want to do. I'm sorry, my wrong choice of words. Not wanting any help or not doing something that's going to help them, but after being forced to have, uh, you know, being great, they don't want anybody telling them what they have to do because they don't want to be forced to do something against their will. And that's basically what you're doing by saying mandatory. It should not be mandatory, but they do need help and they need to be talked to the point where, yes, you need help. I understand you don't really want to go through this. This is not something want. Just talk to her. But mandatory? Heck no. I'm sorry. I will not ever agree to that. No, sir. Thank you, Senator.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hold on, Mondo. Hold on.
all right, go ahead.
Come on. So let's say you offered this class to a woman. You
Mhm.
offered it
Mm-hmm.
versus another woman mandatory. It was mandatory for this program.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you gave a choice felt like she didn't need it. She didn't want to get it. And you gave her the choice. And then all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, one day, because you took away the mandatory, there's a kid that is severely abused because the mother couldn't handle the fact that she had this child from someone that took advantage of her versus the woman that took the program and it was mandatory. And when we say mandatory, it's not like it's a part of everything that you're going to get. And the thing of it is the way it's set up, it's not as harsh as you think it is. You're thinking of a harsh type of situation, but mandatory means like, look, the counseling is mandatory to help you, you know, and give you skills to deal with, the things that you may go through. And she could say yes and go through it. And if she don't want to do it, she could still sit in the classes anyway. This is a part of the entire program. You get what I'm saying? Who wants to
Yeah.
sit there without any solutions in case one day you look at this baby and you just get mad and you may shake the baby, you may start abusing the child because you don't have the skills, but it wasn't mandatory. It was your choice. And because you don't see anything wrong with what you're doing to that child, you have to tackle that before it begins. This is what he's saying. Mondo, go
Okay.
ahead and
She should still have
finish
a
what
choice. Okay, go ahead.
let him go because I cut him off. Go ahead, Mondo.
Okay, you just basically said everything I was getting ready to say together.
Oh, my bad.
You that's okay. I'm glad you get it. You know, if that woman does not get any type of counseling, okay, 9 times out of 10, who is it? Who is it? It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt that child because you said it out of your own mouth. She's gonna look at that child and she's gonna see who the father, especially if it's a boy. So when she goes through her episodes where she starts without any counseling and start having flashbacks of what happened to her, what do you think is going to happen? She's going to take it out on that child. You're running the risk of that happening by not mandating these type of programs. That is why that part of the program will be mandated, because I don't want to take any chances of this woman taking her anger or having some sort of flashback and taking it out on that child. That is what being a leader is all about. You have to protect your citizens from themselves.
Okay, like I said, I never said she didn't need counseling. I never said that. I said she can get counseling, but not be forced to do it, is what I said. Making it mandatory is forcing her to do it. If she does it on her, not if she does, she will do it on her own. Get help. I'm pretty close to sure the women that are out there, if they pay for the counseling, they're gonna go, because counseling is very expensive for those people who don't have the money. So yes, that is a good thing to have a program where the program is paying for your counseling, but not mandatory. You're making a woman do something against her, not against her will, but because she was made to do something against her will. You're doing the same thing. You're forcing her hand where she doesn't. If she doesn't need it, she doesn't need it. But I'm pretty close to sure the woman will go get help if it's paid for. I never said she shouldn't get help. I said she should not have to be forced to go get help.
Hold on a second.
You,
There's a comment from Small
let me just go.
Island. Hold on, Mondo. Hold on. Small
You go long. I
Island
forget what I'm.
Small Island said counseling is a lot different than being forcefully attacked.
Okay, let me go ahead and get out what I'm saying before I forget what I have to say. Okay.
Yeah, because he's getting old, y'all. Just kidding.
No, it ain't about that. Like when I have something on my mind, I like to go ahead and get it out.
I'm kidding.
I've been like that all my life, even when I was young.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too. Go ahead.
But okay, there are a lot of women that went through being sexually violated and didn't even report it to the police. There are a lot of women. Now you do reactions on crime stories and stuff. There are a lot of women that have been raped and had all sorts of things sexually violated and didn't even report it to the police. Okay, so those same type of women, you cannot guarantee that they will eventually later on down the line go seek counseling or even pay for it out of their own pocket. If they're refusing a free program from the government that will provide them counseling, what makes you think they're going to go and pay for it? Because it is expensive. And my thing is, if you don't make it mandatory, you're setting them up for failure. And the reason why I compare it to the seatbelt law is that if the government didn't make it, most states, I think in all 50 states is a law now. Seatbelts is a law. If they did not make it a mandate, then there would be a lot of citizens dying from car accidents. And if you didn't to make a long story short, if you do not make it mandatory, you're setting these women up for failure in the long run. I understand, pro-woman and the women, we don't want to be told what to do. We don't want you to tell us what to do, and we don't want you to control us. Sometimes you have to protect someone you love and care about from themselves. And that's all I'll be doing for my female citizens that go through that type of horrific situation.
What about the male? What about the male citizens then? Because some men get raped as well.
I also said, see, once again, you don't listen.
No, you just said for my you said for my female.
No,
you said
I
that.
just said that, but I also said that my program, and we're not shutting the door on any individual, because we also have another community that we have to protect. Remember me saying that a while back? We have another community, the LGBT community, we have to protect. All right, male, female, the program is available. I'm here to protect all citizens.
Okay, all citizens. Got you. I'm not talking about that community. I'm talking about regular men as well. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, come on now.
Come
She
on
gonna
now.
be here all night long with that one.
No,
Lord
I'm done now. I'm
Jesus.
done. I'm still not going to do the mandatory thing. I get that they need help. They're going to get help, but I don't think it should be mandatory,
Okay,
forcefully
you know
done
what?
to them.
You
I'm
know what?
done.
I agree with the mandatory because there are a number when you have a traumatic situation. A lot of people were not born with bipolar. A lot of people were not born with anxiety. A lot of people were not born with major depression. A lot of people were not born with these situations. Being that,
Hmm.
as again, I worked in the Department of Mental Health, a person witnessed somebody being unalived. And this was a very, very healthy mind individual. That
Hmm.
one incident caused this individual to have a lifetime of really, really serious anxiety to the point
Hmm.
where they freak out. You understand? Some people
Hmm.
go into what if she looks and just goes into a major depression? What if she's so depressed that she's neglecting the child? You don't know because you said, oh, it's her free will, when it could have been handled in the very beginning. Like, I'm sorry, but this is the requirement. So let's say she goes into a depression. Oh, shoot, I can call a counselor. I got skills that I could use. There are things that they teach you in counseling when you're about to go. You can recognize yourself going into a mental episode. And those programs are very important. But sometimes people that go through stuff, they don't feel like anything is wrong. And like the man that boxed the woman upside the head. We just finished talking about domestic violence. What about the man that's whooping on his woman and he doesn't see anything wrong with it? He doesn't see nothing wrong with it. He felt like, oh, I'll just give her a gift and then I'll kick her tail again. And then I'll kick her tail again. So basically what he's saying is we're cutting the head off the monkey ahead of time. Even though you don't like that word forced or mandatory, it has nothing to do with it. We're protecting that child from something that could trigger in the mother that can cause harm to the child and that can help her have a better life. And yes, men do get, you know,
Great.
assaulted every single, it's not like as much as women, but men do get assaulted, period.
Hmm.
Even when they're incarcerated, they still
Hmm.
get assaulted. So we're just saying that take the mandatory out of it that's bothering you and just think about saving that child's life for a episode that may happen. She may flip out and just start pouncing on that kid, and this is something that we could have prevented, is what we're saying. So
Okay.
Armando, if you have anything else to say, I'm gonna go to the next question.
Go for it.
Uh, I pretty much made my case.
Okay, so okay, let's talk about cyber and domestic stalking. And I would like to know your policies, what you would implement to prevent these things from ever happening again. And I will start with UKNEW.
Cyber who? You mean like bullying?
Cyber and domestic stalking. Like you have men that will cyber stalk a woman on like social media. They'll
Hmm.
harass you almost like a troll, but worse than a troll. And domestic stalking, like in person stalking.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, I'm definitely against that because that could actually become worse than just stalking. They could actually end up doing something. So I would definitely, um, the police would have to actually take it serious. And because a lot of times when somebody reports things like that, they think I'm not going to say they take it as a joke, but they don't take it serious. And I think that the police need to take things a little more serious than they do. So I definitely would make sure that they take it serious. And I would have people in charge of the cyber and also the domestic one as well, where they actually in person, not just cybering. Definitely, because they need to take it serious. Because a lot of times the police don't take things serious, and they think that Like I said, not saying it's funny, but they definitely don't take it serious. They don't do anything about it, and that's why things end up progressing from there. So definitely, I would take care of it that way. I'm done.
Facts. Mondo.
Yes, I agree with my opponent, Senator UKNEW. The police, they don't take stalking serious as they should. And usually the answer they'll give you is, well, we can't do anything until they do something to you. We can't do anything. Nope. All right. So stalking under my administration, it would be first degree felony. Um, a mandatory sentence of 6 months in prison. Okay. Now the stalking would, if you're email stalking, the email, and we have a way of tracing the email back to you. Voicemail, threatening voicemails, driving by. If the young lady or the male, because you have women stalking as well, so that goes for women too. If you're driving by your boyfriend, ex-boyfriend's house and you're stalking him, you're showing up unannounced, that is considered stalking. If you're calling, leaving threatening voicemails, that's considered stalking. Now texting, we're not even texting because there's so many, because of technology, people are able to make up fake and fraudulent text messages. So we can't go off of that. So it will have to be voicemail, video recording of you riding by the person's home unannounced, threatening emails, or threatening other family members, showing up in places, intimidation, physical intimidation, showing up at the person's church, or showing up at the person's grocery store, or telling them while they're on the highway or they're driving down the street or whatever. Those would be considered aggravated stalking, and that will be a felony, mandatory 6 months in prison. We're going to have zero tolerance for stalking, physical stalking. Now, as far as the cyber stalking, we would definitely clamp down on doxing. Now, the Freedom of Information Act, that won't be affected. Now, if you are doing a reaction, or if you're doing commentary, if you're a content creator, you're doing a reaction or commentary on someone, and you're presenting public records, and you are not giving out any misinformation, saying, you're basically saying the person did what is actually on the paper. But if you're taking what's on the paper and you're adding and padding to it, and you're gaslighting, and you're adding things, fictitious things on top of that, then that would be considered cyber stalking, and that would be a felony. The individual can press charges against you. All right. If you're an individual and you're requesting someone's personal information, if you're requesting their incident reports or police reports or anything like that, and you're using it with malice intent on that individual online, that will be considered cyber stalking and cyber bullying. Felony, mandatory 6 months in prison. And I say prison, not the county jail, not the city jail, in prison. Because we have a lot of individuals that have been participating in that type of activity, and it has led to offline shootings. It has led to people getting hurt. It has led to people committing suicide. It's just, it's getting out of hand, and it needs to be regulated. So we're going to definitely tighten up on our cyber stalking laws and the stalking laws as well. Bold solutions, not just talking about them now.
You have any pushback? You knew?
No, that's an amazing idea.
And just to add a little bit of information to what you said, Armando, you were absolutely correct. But one thing, text messages are also traceable because what happens is they pull up the person's bill and they can do an in-depth search into even though we think we got rid of the text messages, they still have our text messages word for word. So text messages as well, like you said, also can be used, but some people will fake, and that is a very those are very good answers. So, what do you do after you give the person mandatory 6 months for physical stalking? And this goes to both you guys. Physical stalking, because we had a case here where, like you said, the police they are lazy. They don't do anything until something horrific happens. Okay, the man took and stole one of those what do you call it, the construction trucks where they dig and bulldoze and all that stuff. He stole one of those and mowed down his wife's house. She actually got out of it. What would be the next step for a person that does not have respect or does not care about the law? They'll do their time and be like, I don't care nothing about the law. What would you do?
They don't have, you're saying that they just don't care. Once they go to jail, they come out and they don't care. They don't care if they go back.
They have a mission to destroy this person, and you've already put them in prison. They already have one felony strike, and it seems like no matter what you have done, they still are relentless.
Put their butts in a hole for a while and let's see how they could, let's see what they think about in there.
So
put them back in prison and put them in a hole. Oh, what would the law be? Yeah, that'd be the law. You want to do something like that and you want to make it worse. You're relentless. You keep going for them after you've been told to stay away from this person. Give them some more time and put them in a hole. I bet you they'll think twice about it. They go crazy in them holes.
Why does it sound like you said hoes?
I said holes. HOF.
That sounds good. It sounds good. But in real life, you can't put citizens in holes, man. We're not in the Vietnam camp. We can't put citizens in the holes. The logical answer would be a month before the individual sentence is up. When he's served the 5th month, we will contact the individual, the female or the male, let them know that individual will be getting out of prison, and we will give them the option to apply for a protection order. Okay, and that protection order, we can make that as long as they want it. It don't have to be just for a year. That protection order can be for a lifetime. So if that person violates that protection order, now if they decide for it to be decide that protection order is a lifetime, then they can never date that person again. They can never go around that person again, because the person that breaks the protection order under my administration, they're going to do some time. Okay, so if the woman says, "Oh, okay, I want to put a protection order on him, for life," and then 2 years later she get to looking at the guy, social media account, seeing how good he look or whatever, and she changes her mind and then want to hook up with him, and then something happens, or they go through a roadblock and run, their names get ran, and they're together. They're both gonna be doing some jail time. Once again, we're protecting citizens from themselves. Okay, stalking is very serious. A lot of individuals, a lot of women and men have come up dead. All right, look what happened. Travis Alexander, Jodi Arias was stalking him. He thought it was cute because Jodi Arias was, she was hot. She was hot, He didn't take it serious. He thought, well, just because she was sexy and fine, that she was harmless. And what happened? He ended up losing his life one morning. So we have to protect the citizens from each other. That's what being a commander-in-chief is all about. I yield the floor.
Okay. Okay. I have a question. I was going to ask you guys a question, but it has slipped my mind. And it came down to we're going to jump back to the domestic violence. Armando, as the leader, the leader of this country, and you knew, it has been times where I have seen that a man will, put his hands on his wife or his girlfriend. Would you change the laws where if the lady decides that she's trying to get away from him, should CPS come in and take that child from her, and it's not her fault, and she's trying to, well, before you implemented the plan for her to get away, do you think it's fair that she has to suffer having her children taken away because of domestic violence, Armando?
That's a slippery slope. Uh, you have to make decisions based on what's best for the child. If those two are fighting, and if he's jumping on her, and we don't know what's going on. He could be throwing things, throwing glass at her, or trying to hit her with a bat, or hit her with a 2x4. We don't know. And let's just say he tried to hit her and he misses and he hits one of the children. Then what? Then what? So we have to do whatever necessary to protect the children in the homes. And unfortunately, if it comes to that, removing the child temporarily until the woman is able to get away from that man. And when I say remove it, I'm not talking about putting them in the system. I'm saying, it has to be a relative. You have your mother, the grandmother, or an aunt or a best friend that the child can go stay with for a couple of days until or you're able to get all of your things and leave the house. Or if it's your house and he needs time to remove himself from the premises, whatever it takes. But that child does not need to be in that environment at the time. That's my take on it.
Same question.
Okay. My understanding is that you're saying once he's out of the house, when there's domestic abuse is going on.
No,
No.
not that. If it's his first time hitting her and CPS is called,
Okay.
would you let CPS take the child if it's the first incident and she's trying to get away from him?
If she's seriously trying to get away from him and they have kids, CPS should not be called on them, because CPS sometimes end up doing some shiesty stuff, and you end up losing your kids to the system. So no, definitely not CPS. I would disagree on that one. And also, I would definitely take the man out of the house if the woman's trying to get away. Take the man out of the house if that's what they have to do, or a woman, because it could be either or. DV can be a man or a woman doing something to one or the other. Okay, we're not going to just point to a woman or a man. But I feel like you got to take one of whoever it is that's doing the deed needs to get out of the house until she gets herself situated, and then he can come back or she could come back. And I think that they should just keep him away, so that way she can get if she's really seriously about leaving, then yes, I would help her have him get out of the house until she gets herself together. Either she could stay there and he has to go somewhere else, or vice versa. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So my next
Uh,
question for go ahead.
can I? Okay, I just have a quick pushback on that. Okay, so if CPS is called, someone that means someone called them. 9 times out of 10, the children didn't dial the number. The mother or the father, they're busy arguing with each other, so they didn't dial the number. So a neighbor must have called and heard a bunch of records or whatever. So, like I said earlier, if the CPS is called in that situation under my administration, they would not take the child and put them and put them in the system. No, they would do is CPS, and this is the protocol for that situation. Senator, you knew they would stay there at the scene until another family member arrives, another family member comes and removes that child from the home, because at that time, if there's a bunch of arguing and fussing and fighting or whatever going on, that environment is toxic at the time. So that child does not need to be in that toxic environment. But I'm not saying that I would, CPS should remove them and take them to a shelter and put them in the. No, no, no. The protocol would be the CPS agent would come there and would ask the mother, is there a relative, a close relative that can come and take the child for the night, just for the night or two, until you're able to get things situated where the man, because some of these men don't leave quietly. Some of these women don't leave quietly. How many times have you seen where, a person tell a person to get out, and then they leave, they go out, causing all kinds of chaos. So like I said, once again, we have to do what we have to do to protect the child, but I don't see any harm in another family member coming to take the child, remove the child from the home, and letting them stay with them for the night until things get situated where the man leaves or the woman leaves, or whichever.
Okay. I have a
Okay.
two-part. I need you to start posting these comments that are coming up, because there's a lot of good comments that people are putting in the chat. That's all.
I just had one pushback on that. Definitely what I was saying when I said not to call, not CPS should not be involved in the situation. Let's just say somebody calls CPS. Okay, tell them CPS got to go because it's nothing to do with CPS. I would not let CPS get these kids. Like I said, they do some things and you end up losing your child through the system. I would not allow that. And I know you said you would not allow the CPS to take the child out of the home. Now, what I'm talking about is taking the man or the woman, whoever the aggressive person is, take them out of the home and allow the other person, if this is what they want to do, they want to leave the relationship, then let them go ahead and do what they need to do in that house. Or if it's their home, that they don't have anywhere else to go, the other person has somewhere to go, then let them go wherever they need to go. But definitely don't leave them in the same house, because you don't know what's going on with that aggression with the man or the woman. What I'm talking about, as far as the child's concerned, they can stay with the person that's not being aggressive, and then the other one who is being aggressive needs to go. This is what I was talking about.
Okay, so let me explain something to everyone. CPS, when there's a domestic violence case and let's say a neighbor called, the police or the dispatcher is going to ask, are there children there? Once they say yes, there are children there, the dispatcher automatically dispatches CPS. It's not someone, oh, I'm calling CPS on you. When it's a domestic situation, CPS is dispatched through the 911 operator. That is how the CPS shows up. And I agree
Okay.
with both of you. I don't think that CPS should be the first, outlet for a child to um, be removed. Maybe if that person doesn't have family, maybe they have friends or a neighbor that knows the child very well, they can stay in the house. But I do think that even with that domestic situation, there should be counseling implemented as well. Do you agree with me, Armando?
Um, if that man puts his hands on that woman, uh, then that man is if there's a mark, the authorities arrive. Like I said earlier, the authorities arrive and they see a mark, a bloody nose, or black eye, broken nose, or anything like that. He's going to jail, and he's going to sit for 90 days. I have zero tolerance. I'm going to have zero tolerance when it comes to domestic violence. We
I
can't
agree.
we can't just go off, well, what if he changes, or what if this just one time he just snapped, or he just lost his cool. Well, no, I'm not taking any chances, because too many of our female citizens are coming up dead because a man snapped because he was having a bad day and he took it out on a woman. So under my administration, it will be zero tolerance. All of that counseling and all of that crap, he can get that when he get out of jail. But he's going to go through the system. He is going to go through the system. He's going to sit for 90 days. No matter what the woman can kick, scream, holler, do whatever. I love him. No, please, let him out. Nope. Free my man. Nope, I don't want to hear it. 90 days. And then when we go to court, we can see. But if the state, 9 times out of 10, the state is going to take over, and if the prosecutor, he or she proves the case, then, she's gone. He's gone.
Do you have any
So,
pushback?
No, like I said, I agree. I agree they need to go. And I feel like that's a good time for her to, if she decides that she doesn't want to be with him, that's a good way to get the heck up out of there while he's in there for 90 days. Or vice versa. If she's in there for 90 days, then he can go.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Okay. So you both agree on that. Okay, now, um, children and their safety is the next topic. What laws would you implement to ensure that children's safety is a number one priority? And I will start with Armando.
well, first things first, like I said earlier, we would definitely put more boots on the ground, more police officers all across the country. We will do a mass hiring of and training of more police officers, mainly to help with the schools. We will have more police presence at the schools, more police presence in neighborhoods, patrolling the neighborhoods during the school hours. Definitely, I would also put in a curfew. Any child that's under the age of 18, if you're a minor, you're not going to be out here roaming around in the streets after midnight. You will be detained and taken to whoever your guardian or your parents are. We're not gonna take them to jail or anything like that, but we'll take them to to their parents. We'll take them home, and the parents 9 times out of 10 will be hit with a fine because their underage children's out in the streets roaming around. Definitely, police escorting a squad car on escorting school buses. Okay, because like I said, that the incidents happening are happening more often once the child is on their way to the bus stop or they're getting off the school bus. Seen so many incidents where we turn on the news and the child is getting off the school bus, and this child gets off the school bus and they're never seen again, never heard from again. So to prevent that, we'll have more boots on the ground, more police officers, and we'll also get with the HOA communities in these subdivisions and fund their neighborhood watch programs, where we'll, even if we have to go to the extreme of paying some of the residents to post up by the bus stops to make sure that the children that gets on the bus safely and get off the bus safely and make it home safely. Because the high school kids, a lot of the high school kids, they're going to the bus stops in the morning times and it's still dark outside. So I think that's very important, that we need to put more eyes on the children, to make sure that they're safe.
Okay, you knew.
Okay, you have great ideas, Senator Armando. I want to add only one other thing, and that is the police. Stop telling people they have to wait 24 to 48 hours to go looking for their children, for them to go look for their children. They need to look for those children right away. If they come and the parents are calling them in, and they need to go look for those children right away. Do not wait 24 to 48 hours for these kids. I don't care what age they are. If they're young, if they're of age, under adult age, anything 17 and younger, they definitely need to take it serious and go right away. That would be something I would implement. The hell with that 24 to 48 hour mess. That's what I would add to his.
I agree.
That's all.
I agree that the time is of the essence.
Yes.
And I just want to say one more thing. That wouldn't just go for children. That would be for everyone. If an older person comes up missing, so if it's an elderly person that comes up missing and their loved ones haven't heard from them, and the routine is usually every day that they hear from them by at 3 o'clock, or they don't hear from them, they don't see them, and they report them missing, we're going to look for them. We're going to look for them. We're going to have an Amber Alert for all missing people, not just for the children, but for adults as well. Because so many adults are coming up missing, and dead. They're coming up dead because they're waiting 48 hours. Their 48-hour rule before they go looking for them. Where if we would have went out there and started searching for them before that, like right when they were reported missing, chances are we would have had a better chance of finding them versus waiting 48 hours. So there would be no 48-hour rule for anyone, man, woman, or child, period.
Any pushback?
No, I'm good.
Okay, your next question. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Yeah. What laws would you put into place when it comes to marriage only? And we'll get into the other stuff later, where there is infidelity, and the infidelity brings about another child during the marriage. Armando.
The infidelity brings about another child. That is going to be a maternal situation between that male and that female. I don't think the government should get involved in that situation. Now, when it comes to cheating, and I'm not just going to confine this to marriages, I'm going to say in I'll say if you are engaged to someone, engaged in marriage, all right? If that person cheats on you and you have proof, you have concrete evidence, proof or whatever, then you will be allowed to sue them for pain and suffering under my administration. You'll be allowed to sue them pain and suffering and be able to acquire the minimum of $10,000 from them. You'll at least be able to get $10,000 from them. Sue them for $10,000. The reason why I feel that my administration would get involved in the cheating aspect of it is because I think that would cut down on the sexually transmitted diseases. A lot of individuals, they're in relationships, they're going out creeping, and then they're bringing the diseases home to their significant others. So I think that will cut that down as well. And plus, it's not right. I think if a lot of times when a person is cheated on, and then they 9 times out of 10 they have to break up with that individual, they go through a grieving process, and everyone grieves differently. Okay, you're going through the 5 stages, and some people it hits them harder to the point where they have to seek counseling. You remember the movie? What was the movie with Taraji Henson, where she played the crazy woman, where she went to counseling?
Yeah, acrimony.
Acrimony. Yeah, you have a lot of men and women. This is not just for the women now. Men and women, that have to go and seek counseling, and they're mentally traumatized or whatever. So I feel that those people deserve some type of compensation. So if you have valid proof, I mean like video evidence, or you walk in on them and you got pictures, I don't trust the text messages. I understand what you're saying together, but I just don't trust the text messages. There's so many ways where you can create phony text messages. I don't trust that. The video evidence and the pictures, walking in with the pictures and hotel receipts or whatever, valid proof that you can provide your attorney, you can sue them for pain and suffering, because you cheat on someone, you're causing mental pain and suffering. So that's what I would implement under my administration.
Okay,
UKNEW.
that's a great idea, Senator Armando. Okay, my thing would be, if it was a husband and wife, obviously they have a home, most likely. I would definitely give the home to the person that got cheated on. I would tell the other one they have to leave. That would be one of the things. And as well as if they're engaged and they have a home, the person with the home, the other one has to leave. The one that cheated has to leave. Get your stuff to the left, get the heck out of here. I'm just saying. Definitely, yeah. I would definitely, that would be a great punishment. That would teach a cheater not to cheat, and that is for them to lose their home to the person that they cheated on. I don't care if it is their house. They got to go. That would be one thing I would implement for sure.
Okay. How would you feel about this? This question goes to the two of you guys.
Okay.
If the guy or the woman cheats, the person that they're cheating with knows that they are married and they continue to go on, would there be some type of penalty for the side dude or the side woman that was responsible for the breakup of the relationship? Armando.
No. I mean, we can't get too involved with personal thing. There's nothing that right there. The side, and the reason why there's nothing we can do, because technically, yes, they are wrong for participating, but they did not say in the vows in front of a preacher and God. So legally, we cannot hold them accountable. All right, morally we can. I mean, where it's going to get around town, yeah, she's a side chick, she's a thought, or he's a gigolo, or yeah, he's a home wrecker, or she's a home wrecker. I mean, they'll get, they'll get, they'll get raked through the coals by their peers, But as far as legal, legally, I wouldn't, implement any laws going after the side chick or the side dude. No.
Hold on a second. Actually, there is a woman that her husband cheated with this woman, and she had told the lady to leave her husband alone. You can look it up. The woman sued her for $1 million, and the court actually granted it. So I think that there should be some implementation, especially being that and you were asked to step back, but you continue on. Go ahead, it's your turn. Sorry.
Okay, she did her thing, got her money. Okay, now, my thing would be no. The man or the woman should have kept their pants zipped up. I'm not talking about the one not the side piece, because the side piece is just the side piece. The person that's married, who's got the license and they're married and they got paperwork showing that they're actually married, they're the ones who committed their lives to each other. It had nothing to do with the side piece. Side piece is just a side piece, just like a side of an order, just like the side order on your plate. Okay. I don't think they should do anything with her. But as far as like her and what she gets, she gonna get karma. I believe in karma, and that's why I would not do anything to the side piece. Side piece is gonna get hers, but definitely the man gotta go or the woman gotta go.
Okay.
And I would like to add one more thing to we were talking about grape. If the woman is caught falsifying and lying on a man, saying that a man, or filing a false report saying a man raped her and he really didn't, and evidence comes out that he really didn't rape her, then she's going to get 5 years in the penitentiary for filing a false report on rape, because you can ruin someone's life doing that. And there have been situations where a female has purposely, intentionally, because for whatever reason, because the man didn't want her or whatever, she would go and scream and holler rape, and the man go to prison for a couple of years until they were able to come up with the evidence and find out that he didn't do it. To give you a perfect example, Brian Banks. Brian Banks went to prison over a lie. I think he did like 8-9 years over a lie. Something that he didn't do. So if a woman under my administration, if a woman is if she screams rape on a man and comes to find out that she was lying on that man, the evidence shows in court that she lied, and there's she's gone. She's gone. 5 years in the penitentiary. It ain't gonna be no situation where my bad, like a lot of the women that file false reports, my bad, I'm sorry. No, you doing some time, because you ruined that man's life. Even though the charges have been dropped and everything, but you can't erase the hell that individual went through, and the torment that individual went through, and the fact that their reputation is ruined for life. Because he's still going to have some people that say, calling them a rapist, even though they didn't do it. So, There's going to be some repercussions for that.
I have a question for the two of you guys. In your uh, laws, there have been cases where you have had district attorneys that are trying to get to a higher level, and if that district attorney withholds information to prove that a male or a female is innocent in a crime, and it's later found out if they're in a much higher position, what laws would you implement so that they will have to deal with, the injustice that they did to individuals? You knew.
They would be in contempt of court. They would go to jail. Give them some, I don't know, 90 days and let them learn their lesson because obviously they're willing to do anything to be in a higher position. Then they could just get dropped down to a no position. That's up to them. Done.
Armando?
Contempt of the court? Nope. They get more than that. They get more than 90 days under my administration. They're going to get at least 2 years to sit behind bars and think about what they done. They will be disbarred. They will never, ever, ever, ever be able to practice law in this country ever again. Now, the statement I was making, where if it is found that the woman will actually have to, if she confesses, and there have been situations where the women have confessed that they were not raped. So if they are cross-examined on the witness stand, and it is obvious that they lied, and that they lied on the man, then they're gone. They're gone. Filing a false rape charge against anyone would be a felony under my administration.
And as far as what you were talking about just now, for the attorney, I did say that he would lose his job, so that is being disbarred. Like they would not be able to work as an attorney. That's what I meant when I said that. So if they're willing to lie, then they need to not be attorneys for no positioning as well. To be trying to make themselves into a higher position, definitely they cannot be attorneys. That's it.
Okay. With the recent situation that happened on Saturday, everybody is aware, so I don't need to go into detail. As the leader of this country, when you hear or see posts or people expressing that that young gentleman that lost his life should not have missed, but they're spewing hatred online, and they're speaking in the open. What would be your? I know you can't take away freedom of speech, but what would your law be against people promoting violence, Armando?
I will leave that up to the discretion of the platform, whether it be Facebook, YouTube. I'm quite sure they have policies in play where they can flag that comment and they could terminate that individual's page or channel. As the president, I will not get involved in that because that would be messy. You're messing with the First Amendment and on that situation. Now, I would like to comment on the preventative measures. Okay, something like that would never happen under my administration, whether with me or my opponent. Nothing like that would happen because I would not put so much responsibility in the hands of the local authorities. You feel what I'm saying? The National Guard would have been, their presence would have been there heavy. All right, I would have had the National Guard posted up as well as the Secret Service. The Secret Service, they're not as deep as a lot of people, as we all think they are. There's not that many of them. So you needed help and some assistance with them. Local police officers are not trained. They're not military trained, or they don't have the same training that a Secret Service member has, or a military person or a National Guard member has. So I would definitely have that's what the National Guard is there for, to help out in domestic situations. So anytime that there's a rally, if Senator UKNEW comes to Georgia and holds a rally here, not only are we going to have the Secret Service there for her protection, but we're also going to have the National Guard there protecting as well, on the ground and in aerial spaces, like on top of buildings. We're going to have a couple of choppers swirling around the area. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that no incident like that ever happens to either one of us. Thank you.
You knew, same question.
Me, I'd be different. I would definitely, I know you were saying about the First Amendment, I would shut down that social media until it gets cleaned up of all the spew that they're putting out, they're spewing out there. Yeah, because all that negative stuff that can cause more issues than need to be. If I could keep that from happening, keeping it, as calm as possible, definitely I would have them close it down until they clear all that stuff off of the social media, and then they could put it back up as long as there's nothing about that stuff is on there, because it should not be out there anyway, because that does cause war and issues. So yeah, close it down until they clean it up, and then they can bring it back up.
Hello, Super Saiyan Jim. How are you? Okay.
Hello.
I have a pushback.
Okay.
Yes. Listen. All of that sounds good. My opponent. That all sounds good. It sounds good, but in real life, this problem has been going on.
You don't stop using that on me.
This problem has been going on for centuries. We didn't have any social media when President Lincoln was sitting in that theater and got his head blown off. We didn't have any theaters when President Garfield got gunned down. We didn't have any social media when President McKinley got gunned down in Buffalo. We didn't have any social media when President Kennedy got gunned down in Dallas. We didn't have social media when President Reagan got shot at in '81 in D.C. So we have to be proactive. Okay, so you shut down social media, then what? The problem still is going to exist. You're still going to have yahoos. You're still going to have weirdos, because they're going to. The only thing about it is they could be they saying it at the dinner table, but you don't hear it. You don't see it. You have to be ready. We have to be ready for idiots like that, because we can't assume that social media is the reason why this kid got all hyped up to go do that. You have people that wake up and want to go be famous, and they'll go do some dumb stuff like that, like president's in town. I'm gonna go try and get my name in history books. I'm gonna see, can I take a shot at him? You have idiots like that, so we have to take preventive measures and be proactive in protecting the president, or whoever is running for president, public office. And it don't even have to be a presidential candidate. The governor, the mayor, any public official. We have to, take measures in protecting them. That could have happened to a celebrity. That could have happened at a concert. We just have to be ready. And that is why with my administration, I am putting more boots on the ground. We have a National Guard. There's a National Guard in Pennsylvania. Where were they Saturday? Where were they? There's no reason why this man should have been able to crawl up on a building, get on top of a roof, get comfortable, and take an aim at the president. We can't allow that to happen under our watch. We can't allow that to happen under our watch. So the best way to prevent that from ever happening, social media or no social media, we have to put boots on the ground, and we have to utilize our National Guard in situations like that, which means trained law enforcement agents that can be ready for those type of incidents. Thank you.
Oh, he right on 3 minutes. Wow, that was good. Okay, do you have a rebuttal?
No.
Okay. So my next question before I get to the final question is this. I don't know if people have seen or heard, but there was a senator, no, not a senator, there was a black woman, her first name is Jacqueline. I forgot what her position was. It pops in and out of my head. She wrote on her Twitter account that the person that took aim at Donald Trump should have taken, um, shooting lessons. And her next quote was, "Next time, don't miss." Okay, she did get fired. What else would you have implemented in her punishment? And secondly, anybody that is in any type of office, what would be a mandatory not to do when it comes to being in the office? You knew.
I need you to ask that question again because I'm multitasking. Sorry.
Okay, Armando, until you finish multitasking.
Like I said, I don't want to get in the habit of. I don't feel that we as a government should mess with the First Amendment. Okay, are we a democracy, or are we trying to be like Russia and North Korea? Okay, now even though that was some nasty comments that woman made, it was egregious comments, and I totally disagree with what she said. But at the end of the day, freedom of speech. Okay, long as she wasn't making any threats toward the president or making any threats toward anyone, she was exercising her First Amendment rights. Now, what happened as far as her losing her job, whatever else that comes with it, even if let's just say if she lives in a condo and the management don't want to renew her lease, I mean, they're well within their rights. I mean, just like she has the freedom of speech, individuals have the freedom of reaction. But being a president and as far as the government, trying to intervene with that situation, no, I disagree with that. Thank you.
You knew? Are you finished multitasking?
No, hold on.
Okay. I was asking because I know that you have to show a certain level of, I don't even know the word for it. I don't even want to say decorum. I don't know if that's something I should be saying, but when you're in certain offices, you're not supposed to do certain things. So that's the reason why I was asking you. I understand about freedom of speech, but when it comes to violence in our office, no one should be promoting or making those types of comments. And I'm sure that that was probably, they give you a list of things to do and not to do when you're in certain types of jobs, is what I'm saying. And I was asking you, would you implement that? Because the next person could take that as a sign to go until she finishes, Armando.
Okay, I'm ready. Look in this. Look in the private chat. Look in the private chat. Okay, so you're muted, but yeah, she should not have done that. That was definitely disrespectful, and uh, that was just wrong. Period. For her to do something like that. I would disagree with what she did. Um, I would not allow that, and I'm glad she got in trouble for it. She got fired for it. She needs to get fired for it because that's not First Amendment. That's inciting trouble. That's what she's doing.
Exactly.
Hmm.
That's why I said there's a certain level of responsibility you must take when you are in office. You can't
Hmm.
just say things like when you're in a hospital, working in a hospital setting, whether you're doing it to be nasty or you're doing it just for being polite. You take a picture of your client and say that your client is doing better and you post it on the internet, you can still get fired even though you
Hmm.
didn't do it with ill intent. There are certain things that you absolutely cannot do. Go ahead,
Right.
Armando. I just wanted to fill in till you got back.
Um, like I said, there was suspect rhetoric on both sides. All right, there are people that have said egregious things about Biden. There were comments made. Remember the governor from Michigan? There were suggestions about kidnapping her. Then there was a situation with Paul Pelosi. You've had like nastiness on both sides, and I think the rhetoric definitely needs to tone down on both ends. Um, but like I said, that's up to the discretion of the social media platform when it comes to
Okay.
that type of rhetoric.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I do have a copy of the said video that I'm referring to. And I'm not trying to make this a debate about Democrats and Republicans. Maxine Waters, when Donald Trump was in office, she held a rally and she instructed every Democratic person that was within the sound of her voice or that is watching her live broadcast to go out and attack any Republican that had on MAGA uniforms, like hats and stuff like that, or anyone that said that they were a part of the MAGA movement. Do you not think that she should have been held accountable for doing that? And people literally got hurt for real, Armando.
Now that's different. She was inciting violence, and I'm surprised that she wasn't removed as a congressman. I'm surprised that she wasn't removed from her position, like what they were trying to do to Marjorie Taylor. I'm surprised they didn't do that to Maxine Waters, because that was a form of inciting violence. And wherever she was at, let's just say if she was in Kansas City making a speech and she made that comment, the local authorities should have detained her, because that is a form of she's inciting violence. That's a form of terroristic threats. To suggest,
Right.
because if you are held to a high standard, you're a public official, and you're suggesting to people to go out and harm someone that has on a mega hat or a mega T-shirt. That's a no there. So that right there is different. That's different than wishing that someone would have hit the target. That's totally different. That's just someone voicing their opinion. If I say, well, damn, he should have been a better shooter, or damn, he should have hit the target. I mean, that's someone voicing their opinion. I heard the other day Willie D kind of, jokingly made a reference to that 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 the guy should have been had a better aim, and that way he would have hit his target. But that's not the same as what Maxine Waters. What Maxine Waters said, that is dangerous. That's dangerous rhetoric, and she should have been removed from her position in the House of Representatives and whatever local authorities, wherever she was at. I think I remember she was sitting in a coffee shop or something like that, or a restaurant, or something like that, when she said it.
No, she was outside and she was speaking.
Was she outside a restaurant or something?
She was
Outside a restaurant
outside.
or something?
I don't know where she was, but she was outside here in Los Angeles when she instructed all the people that were Democrat to go attack anybody that had on MAGA gear. And that's what I say. I didn't understand how the Democrats did not fire her for that, because had it been someone in the Republican office, they would have been fired immediately.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't remove her from her position, because they definitely was trying to get Marjorie Taylor up out of there.
Yeah, she says a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. Maxine Waters says a lot of stuff that gets pushed underneath the table, and they overlook the stuff that she says. And I don't understand why that continues to go on. That's why I was asking you. Like you said about the target thing. I understand that, but you have people that will go even further than that and say more than that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, shouldn't it be a policy implemented where I don't care if she just say, "Oh, you missed the target." When you have a job, there are certain lines you should not cross. There are certain expressions you should not voice, because you are being held to a high regard to some people, and some people hang on to your every word. So what if someone else tries it again based on, her comment? Oh, they shouldn't have missed. This is what I'm asking.
Where they shouldn't have missed. That's an opinion. It's not a threat. It's not a terroristic threat. So if you're going by the law, they didn't commit a crime. Morally, it's wrong. So they definitely should lose their job. I'm glad someone screenshotted it and sent it to that person's job and notified them of their behavior online. But as far as the government getting involved with that woman voicing her opinion, you're venturing into dictatorship then. And I'm not trying to be a dictator. I just want to be the president.
Okay, you're saying they're going into dictatorship. Then, if it was just her opinion, why would you fire her then? So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. I mean, you violated her First Amendment right, if that's what you're saying.
Because most jobs have ethic rules, ethics rules. You have to. You're representing that brand, so you have to carry yourself in a certain way. Like, I give you an example. If you are a school teacher and you post something on Instagram with you in a, you twerking on Instagram, and someone gets that video clip and they send a copy of it to the superintendent's office, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna lose your job, but you haven't committed a crime. You just you violated the school policy. So that type of behavior, I'm quite sure, that's a misrepresentation of whoever she works for. It's a misrepresentation of the brand. So if I own a company and you misrepresent my brand, then I have the right to terminate you.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out where Miss UKNEW is.
I'm right here. I don't cut people off. You know that.
No, no pushback.
No. I didn't never get to say anything. But basically, I I think, my opinion, my thoughts, I think regardless if they're Democrats or Republicans, I feel like that's evil to say. They should have never missed. Just saying. Because they're still human, no matter if they're Democrats or Republicans. That's it.
Would you implement a law against people in positions as high as theirs from saying things like that? And he said it would be against their First Amendment right.
Well, why would it be against? Okay, so if they're saying something that's gonna cause uh, disruption in the world or in that state or wherever we're talking about, I feel like they definitely should have, they should be reprimanded for what they did or what they said. Yes, they should, because I'm sure that's against the policy of being some kind of politician that says some things like that. If that's not a policy, then guess what? They need to go back and fix their policies. That's it.
Okay, push back Mondo or no?
I mean, I agree with her. I mean, yes, it's definitely it should be a misrepresentation of whatever brand that they represent or whoever they work for. They should definitely immediately be terminated. But they did not break the law. You know, they did not break the law. And if you try to implement a law and you controlling someone's speech, you're messing with the First Amendment. You know, you're messing with the First Amendment. Then you're slowly becoming Russia or North Korea. Well, citizens can't express themselves. Now, what Maxine said is a different ball game. I feel like she broke the law when she said what she said. So not only should she have been removed, she should have been detained. Because those were some very dangerous comments she made.
Okay, you knew. Did you get the video? I don't think she heard me. She might be multitasking again.
I am multitasking. What video is it on my phone?
No, I asked you if you could pull up that video with Maxine Waters telling people.
I'm not on my computer.
Oh, okay, then never mind. So, my last and final question for this debate, which was an awesome. Both of you guys have some very awesome answers and responses, and I thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
allowing me to moderate.
Thank you.
Homelessness issues. What would you put in place to ensure that the homeless issue is taken care of? I'm going to say this. Here in California, Governor Newsom and the mayor, this was what was in the newspapers. It's not my saying. They lost $22 billion that was allocated for homelessness. Now nobody knows where that money went. Now he's trying to force California taxpayers to make up for the $22 billion that is missing. What laws would you implement, Armando? And what would you do to forcibly make them find that money that disappeared, Armando?
Um, well, the first thing we would have to do with homeless is we would have to provide funding to the local governments so that they can build shelters, because I see a lot of shelters are being closed down or shut down for whatever reason. I don't know if it's not in the budget to keep them going, but we would definitely fund shelters all across the country, homeless shelters. And how this would work is we will also have the individuals that come to the homeless shelters, we will put them on a work program, okay, a job fair work program. We will give them at least 90 days. 90 days to get on their feet and to find a job. We will definitely make sure they find a job, but we'll give them 90 days to get on their feet. Then after that, then they're pretty much we would have to they can't live in the shelter forever. You have to you have to put a timetable on it, and I feel that 90 days would be enough time if they are serious and they want to get help. 90 days would be sufficient time for them to be up on their feet. Now, if the homeless individual, now I'm quite sure some people are going to say, what if they're drug addicts? Okay, if you are a drug addict, you're homeless, you're a drug addict, mandatory. I'm going to make it mandatory that you go get help, and which means you go to rehab for 6 months. I'm going to implement a nationwide rehab centers all across the country, because we do have a serious drug epidemic problem in the country, and 6 months in a drug rehab center, I think that would be that would be something that could help those individuals out. So the homeless individuals, that you got people that are homeless because they're down on their luck, because they lost their job, or maybe because they lost a family member, or they lost their family in an accident or something like that, and they're out on their own and they don't have nowhere to go. Those individuals, we'll put them in a shelter, we'll put them in a work program, we'll help them get back on their feet, if they're drug free. Those that are drug addicts, we will put them in a nationwide government ran rehab center for 6 months. Because these rehab centers that's doing it for 30 days, you can't get anyone clean in those 30 days. That is a pipe dream that you're selling that person. You need at least somewhere between 90 to 60 days to get that person clean. And even after that, you still have to, stay on top of them and make sure that they don't fall off the wagon. But definitely mandatory 6 months drug rehab center. If that homeless individual is strung out on drugs.
Okay, you guys are gonna have to finish this without me because the dogs are going crazy right now, and I don't know why.
Okay. Stay up though. Stay up. Okay. Um, Let me see. Homelessness. Vets to start with. Um, the ones that are down on their luck. Definitely, I agree with what you said as far as them needing to be in treatment. As far as the ones that are doing UGs or were doing UGs and they ended up being ended up homeless. They definitely need to go. Yeah, like you said, 6 months, 9 months, a year. I would top it to a year because some of them are harder to get over it than others. So I'd give them at least a year. Um, if they don't need it after like 6 months, then fine. But majority, sometimes they need it more than that. Okay, and then as far as like the vets and the ones that are down on their luck, as you would put it, I would definitely have either make some apartment buildings just for the homeless, okay, and then have them, like you said, have them be trained for jobs, and then have them, that's where they would live until they can get themselves off their feet, and then you could just rotate if they. I'm saying as far as like if they keep coming, if they keep having more homeless people. I'm not saying the homeless people that are already out there. I'm talking about the ones beyond those homeless people. After we've already helped them, then here comes some more people that need their help. So we're just going to have them there until they get on their feet. I give them 2 years, as long as they respect the building. They take care of what they need to take care of. No partying, no nothing like that. Like literally, it would be an area, a place where they would live, but they would have to keep it calm, cleaned, and keep it like new. I mean, not no disrespecting or I mean no neglecting or tearing up the place. None of that. That's what I would do. And like I said, and then we would just rotate to the next if we need more, if we have more people and they've already passed their 2 years and they haven't even done anything, that's on them because at least we gave them everything they needed. We gave them the roof over their head, we've given them, give them money for, food, whatever help they need until they get on their feet. Within that 2 years, they should be good. And then we could rotate it to the next homeless people to live there as well. And the same rules apply. If they disrespect it, they neglect the place, they tear it up, they have parties, they have crazy stuff going on over there, they definitely have to go because at least you've given them a chance to get back on their feet and back to a normalcy. That's what I would do.
What about
What do you
security?
think? Huh?
What about adding security to make sure that they don't do those things?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There would be someone watching. Definitely. They would be taken care of. As far as the security part, yes, they definitely, because you got to have somebody watching them. They're not going to just, because look, they're coming off being homeless and there's nothing to respect being homeless. All they're doing is, they got their basket, their basket or their cart, right? They got their cart. They have what they have in that cart and they have what they have on their backs. But if they have a home and they have to respect it, they're going to respect it if they don't want to go back to the way it used to be, where they were homeless, cold, didn't know when the next meal was coming. That's going to be something that they're not going to want to go through that again unless they like being on the streets. But definitely give them a try. If it doesn't work out, they have to go and let somebody else in, somebody that's going to respect the housing that's put in their place for the 2 years that they would need to get themselves back on their feet. And also, like you said, help them get training, job training, of course.
Okay, so do you have any pushback on what she said?
Everything pretty much matches what I would do. Definitely. Now, as far as like the year, I would like to know, would she make a year mandatory or would it be an extension from 6 months, or would she make anything mandatory as far as the rehab for the homeless individuals that are, that have a narcotic issue?
Okay, the ones that have narcotic issues definitely would be at least 6 months mandatory. After that, if the doctor feels like no, they need more time, they need that year, then they're going to have to get that year, or they won't be able to go to that place the apartments that I'm talking about, because then that means they're not trying. So they need to definitely get all the way off and then be able to live on their own in that apartment.
Okay, so my question is this: they do have what they call transitional living if you're going to do that. And
Hmm.
with the transitional living, I think what would be better is if they did not have an apartment of their own, but if you had like transitional living and you had a number of bedrooms with a number of beds and partner them up with people that they can get along with. And with the transitional living, they have live-in people that will do the laundry, that will do the cooking, and that will stay up overnight and monitor, the situation. Because, some people will come in with false pretenses and totally bring chaos into the home. How would you implement that?
As far as like if they're not actually homeless or the ones that are going to cause chaos, as in some that are disrupted. Is that what you
Okay,
mean?
so what I'm saying is with a lot of the programs, and I'm going by my experience, we would take
Hmm.
the homeless people off the streets if they wanted it, and we will put them in what we call transitional living.
Hmm.
Transitional living comes with training. It comes with having a house person and security. They have access to doctors and outside resources. Also, it is there. They are there to learn. They have like a community area where they're there to learn. Different
Hmm.
people come in and teach them skills so that they can do well on their own. And once we transition them from the transitional living, if they do a good job, then we can trust them within a home, and then we will have someone that will come and monitor and make sure that they're standing up, to their end of the bargain. How do you feel
Mm.
about that?
Okay, so as far as that, as far as me saying an apartment, I'm thinking along the line. It's some of them are actual couples who are down on their luck or out of their home, um, lost their homes due to circumstances. I feel like they should be able to be on their own. They should not have to roommate with anybody. So that's why I was saying apartments where they can be on, they have their own apartment as long as they're taking care of it. And then if they don't, they have to go. And I mean, if they prefer to be on the street and be pushing carts than to be in their own apartment, cooking their own food and taking care of their home, then, they have to go.
I
But
understand that, but you still
apartments,
have to teach them skills, because let's say they were out on the street for so long and they've learned
right,
street survival. Now, what I mean, as far as a married couple, they would be in a room by themselves, like sort of like with a bathroom in it. You get what I'm saying?
hmm hmm
They're like a master bedroom, but at the same time, they still would have to be taught skills in order not to fall back into the same position that
right,
they were in. We got to find out what went wrong. If it's lack of job skills, if it's a person that has a mental disability, if they're disabled or something like that that caused them to fall into it, then we have to find out what the root of the problem is before we just like put them into an apartment. They may get in an apartment and start hoarding in there because they don't know how to survive, or they forgot how to survive because they've been on the streets for so long.
right. No, they would definitely have training. For sure, they would have training. Definitely would have training on when they do the rules. They would have to sit in like what they call them. What they call these rooms, conference rooms. So they'll have like a conference room for all these people that are going to be in those apartments. They're going to talk to them and they're going to tell them how they need to respect the place and how to deal, how to deal with the transitioning from being homeless to going back to what it used to be before they lost their homes, for whatever reason that they lost their homes. And yes, they would definitely be having that counseling. They would have to sign paperwork, all that, and that's the only way they'll be able to get to that apartment. Yes, definitely. I would implement that.
Any rebuttals? Any pushbacks?
Pretty much everything I stated that I would do. Pretty much everything I was stated that I would do. And at the
Mm-hmm.
homeless, at those homeless facilities, we would. That's why I've been saying the entire evening, boots on the ground. We would have, we would do a mass hiring of law enforcement. We would do a mass hiring of law enforcement all across the country.
Okay, that sounds really good. So, with that being said, you guys in the chat, please cast your votes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. If there's anybody have a question before we go, you can put it in the chat, and both of the runners could actually answer your questions. Um, we'll give you a few seconds to put your questions in. Do you have anything else to say, in case, like, any closing remarks? If they don't put any questions in the
Question.
chat, yeah.
Um, Senator Armando did an amazing job. I hope everything that he's talking about implementing actually is what's going to happen. Not just words, but actual action.
Shots fired.
Bold, proactive solutions. Okay. And a lot of people are wondering, where would the money come from? Listen, like I said, I am, why are we protecting individuals in other countries? We're spending more money protecting people over in Ukraine than we are protecting the men and women and children here at home.
I agree.
That is something that has to change, and it's definitely gonna change up under my watch. So definitely, not only am I talking the talk, we are definitely gonna walk the walk. And when I win this election, you're more than welcome to come and work for me under my administration, Senator UKNEW.
You as well, Senator Armando.
It sounds like shots fired. Okay, you guys, time is up. Let's everybody say, I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section on each one of this runners, community wall. But other than that, it's time to go.
I ain't got no community wall. They took it away. They put me for kids only.
What's the vote count? What's the vote count?
I don't know. I can't see.
I got it.
You would be up.
I got it up
you can
on.
See it.
I got it up on the thing.
Hold on, let me
I
see.
got it up on. I got it up in the chat, at the top of the chat.
It's a tie.
A tie.
It's a tie.
Okay. Okay.
At first, you knew it was in the lead, and then all of a sudden you caught up.
Okay. Okay. That's a tie. All right.
We brought it. We brought it.
Yeah. That was a good. That was a good debate. That was a good debate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just a little bit of shots fired, but it's okay.
That's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys.
He was getting me with the it sounds good, so I figured I'd shoot some bullets. I'm just saying.
Okay. We reached our 3-hour mark, you guys. It's time to go.
Thank you. Y'all have a great evening, everybody.
Peace.
All
Don't
right,
forget
everyone.
to join D-Truth tonight at 6:30 California time. 7 or 8? 8 o'clock your time and 9:30 out there where y'all at.
Okay. All right. We're going to join D-Truth later on tonight, everyone. Thank you all for coming out to the debate, and everyone get home safe. Peace and blessings. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we are out.
Good night.
Take care of yourselves and each other. Good night.
Black peace and chicken grease.